Imagine a place where the knowledge of the ancient world was gathered under one roof and then slowly disappeared. This was not simply a library. It was an attempt to collect humanity's knowledge. Mathematicians, physicians, astronomers, and philosophers came to Alexandria because knowledge itself was the prize. And according to an ancient account, even ships arriving at the harbor could become part of the search. They weren't necessarily searching for gold. They wanted something far more valuable: books. Texts could be copied, catalogued, and added to the growing collection. In a strange way, Alexandria was building something that resembles humanity's first global information network. Imagine opening a scroll containing a discovery that would not be made again for 1,000 years. The tragedy is that many of the works that once existed there are known to us only by their titles, or not at all. Alexandria produced minds like Eratosthenes, who calculated the Earth's circumference with astonishing accuracy. He used shadows, geometry, and mathematics, not satellites, to estimate the size of our planet. Other scholars studied medicine, anatomy, astronomy, language, and the natural world. But knowledge survives only when people preserve it. And Alexandria was never isolated from politics, war, religion, or violence. In 48 BCE, fighting between Julius Caesar and his enemies brought fire Alexandria's harbor. Here is where the famous story becomes complicated. That fire does not prove the entire library vanished that day. For centuries, people imagined one enormous fire consuming every book in a single catastrophic moment. But historians now see a more complicated story: damage, political upheaval, decline and loss over time. Alexandria also had another major collection associated with the Serapeum. And that matters because ancient knowledge was not stored in only one room. Centuries later, Alexandria still produced extraordinary thinkers. One of the most famous was Hypatia.
She taught mathematics, philosophy, and astronomy in a world where powerful institutions were increasingly divided.
Alexandria was becoming a city of intense religious and political conflict. In 415 CE, Hypatia was brutally killed by a mob. Her death became a powerful symbol of Alexandria's troubled age. But her death should not be reduced to a simple story of one person destroying knowledge. The deeper tragedy was that the intellectual world, supporting generations of scholars, was slowly disappearing. And this is where Alexandria's lost knowledge becomes even more fascinating. Hero of Alexandria was an engineer and mathematician who designed machines that seem almost impossible for his time. He described automatic mechanisms, hydraulic devices, and machines powered by air, water, and heat. And then there was the machine that sounds like science fiction: the aeolipile. Heat produced steam. The escaping steam caused the sphere to rotate. So here's the question. What if ancient engineers had pushed this technology much further? Could an industrial revolution have happened centuries earlier? Maybe. But history gives us no evidence that the aeolipile was capable of powering an industrial revolution. The device demonstrated steam-powered motion, but turning that principle into practical industrial power required far more. Better materials, better boilers, precision manufacturing, reliable fuel, and an entire industrial system. But even without an ancient industrial revolution, Hero's machine reveals something remarkable. Ancient engineers understood that invisible forces, air, pressure, and steam, could produce visible motion. And Hero was only one inventor. How many other designs disappeared? Machines for medicine, astronomy, mathematics, engineering. Perhaps discoveries we don't even have names for.
When a book disappears, its ideas can disappear with it. If you love uncovering the mysteries hidden inside humanity's past, subscribe to History Hub. We are only getting started.
Because the biggest mystery isn't simply what Alexandria lost. It is where the surviving pieces went. Some ancient works survived because they were copied, translated, or preserved elsewhere. Knowledge did not simply vanish. Some of it traveled. Centuries later, scholars continued copying and translating fragments of the ancient intellectual tradition. And no, we don't have evidence that a secret vault beneath the Vatican contains the lost Library of Alexandria. The real hunt is far more fascinating, finding surviving fragments in libraries, ruins, and archaeological collections. Today, technology can sometimes reveal writing without destroying the fragile object itself. Other ancient collections have already shown that forgotten texts can survive for centuries, waiting for new methods to reveal them.
So could another lost work still be waiting somewhere?
Maybe not inside a secret chamber. It could be hiding as a damaged fragment nobody recognized. Sometimes a few surviving lines are enough to change what historians think they know. That is why Alexandria remains more than a story about a lost library. It is a warning about how fragile human knowledge really is.
Civilizations can build extraordinary things and still forget how they were built.
And somewhere between the surviving fragments and the lost ones lies a question we may never answer. How much further could humanity have gone if every generation had inherited every discovery of the one before it?
Perhaps the greatest lost treasure of Alexandria was never gold. It was knowledge and the possibility of what humanity might have become.
If you enjoyed this journey into lost history, subscribe to History Hub. More mysteries are waiting to be uncovered.